Welcome to the show, everyone. This is going to be a really, really great show, as they all are for the last over 8 years now. If you want to get yourself heard on the show, just go ahead and give us a call here at the station. Get connected with me, and I'll get you on Networking Arizona. Our number here is 602-277-5369. And get yourself heard on Networking Arizona. My first guest, this is going to be very interesting, especially if anyone has lost anyone in their life. They're going to really relate to this. My first guest is Rick Floyd, and he is the owner of Preach My Funeral. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Tell us a little bit about what it is that you do. Go ahead.
I used to live in Arizona for about 14 years, and I had moved away. And upon my return, people knew that I was a pastor, and immediately people were coming to me and saying, "Would you preach my sister's funeral, my dad, my brother, and just various family members?" And so even after that, a friend of mine had asked me over to his house one time to introduce his brother to me, because his brother was about to pass away, and he said, "I don't attend church, and I just know you as a pastor, Rick. Would you be interested in the future preaching my brother's funeral?" And I said yes, and so that's how it all came about.
Okay, so you preach people's funerals.
Correct.
Okay. Let's ask a couple of different questions. Number one, when someone calls you, does it matter what religion they are?
No, ma'am, not necessarily. I've done a variety of denominations throughout the years. The whole idea is to get to know the individual before they pass away.
Wouldn't that be nice? How many people out there, and I had this, I didn't have it with my father, but I had it with my mother, where, they come in and they ask you a couple questions beforehand, and then they start talking as if they know them, and they don't know them, do they?
They don't know them.
So what is your procedure?
First of all, just an initial consultation, get to know the person, have a variety of questions that I ask them, likes, dislikes, just everything that I could find out about them. The family members, phone numbers, email addresses, just that I have total access to that individual. And then I just listen. I enjoy working with the senior citizens. I always have. They love talking. A lot of times they feel left out, neglected. And so I'm just kind of a pastor to the pastorless many times.
Now, you are valley-wide. You even said that if somebody needs to go out, they need you to go out of state, you will.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, your phone number for them to call you is 480-468-6300. Your website is preachmyfuneral.com. So, how far in advance do you start getting to know them? What is the, we don't want an hour before. We really want, I'm assuming that you mean that you really get to know them beforehand.
Months or even years. I establish a friendship and a relationship with the individual or the family. Also have different packages that we make available. I'm available to do hospital visits, nursing home, also at the bedside. If the doctor says you need to call the family in, I'm available 24 hours a day for that also.
So you are really available 24 hours a day. The different packages that you have, let's talk a little bit about those.
First of all, I just want to say, if someone currently has a pastor or attends a church, I'm not trying to steal or usurp that pastor's role. I'm primarily looking for people that, for whatever reason, maybe they moved here, or they haven't attended church, they don't attend church, that would like some type of pastoral care and counseling and funeral care. So
there's a lot of people like that. A lot of people don't go to church anymore, so they don't go to services or anything like that. So that's a very good point that you're making. You might need someone like this, and if you don't, maybe someone you do does. So you can give them the phone number, which is 480-468-6300. It's preachmyfuneral.com, and he does free consultations with everyone. So some of the different packages, let's talk about them.
First of all is the remembrance. That is just a basic package. Go for the initial consultation, get to know the person, again, a questionnaire, visit, talk with them, make sure that the individual feels comfortable with me and that they feel like it's something that they want to follow through with. And that also includes the funeral service, the graveside, and follow-up, Skype, phone calls to family and friends.
That's wonderful. Now, you also have one that's called the tribute. What's that?
It's more involved. It's 3 to 4 visits, and a lot of times he can be beforehand, like I say, whether it be in the hospital, nursing home, or something. That also includes a questionnaire of funeral services. It also, not only the graveside, but grief literature, because grief is a very difficult time in people's lives, and they need someone to walk them through that many times, and that is included with grief counseling.
Before you go to the next one, do you offer grief counseling?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so what does that entail? I mean, when someone is, I mean, usually it's very difficult. It's not just for the person that's passing away, but which I know that you also will go to them,
Right.
but it's also for the family.
Most certainly. It's a very difficult time, and people need to understand and realize that grief is not a weakness, and it's not their fault. Grief is something that happens as a result of loving someone. And so to walk them through that is, everyone's different, and there are different stages, whether it's acceptance or denial, and the whole process. And so that's why I enjoy the one-on-one, where it's not a big group, whether it's just a particular person or a few family members. The literature that we go through, I believe, is very helpful, and it helps them to rebound in a very difficult time.
What happens if you're just having a celebration of life, and they want you there? Can you do that too?
Yes, ma'am.
So again, if you're not necessarily having any kind of a funeral, and you just want to have a celebration of life, he can also come there too. And again, if you're grieving, does it matter how long ago they passed away?
No. Again, if they did not receive some type of counseling, they could be hurting years later. And so, again, it's very helpful to go back, unpackage some of the hurt and reasons maybe that they didn't grieve properly, and so to walk them through that.
Sure. Again, that phone number is 480-468-6300. He does free consultations with everyone, and his website is preachmyfuneral.com. The last one is a celebration. What's that? Is that like this big celebration of life, or does also include maybe a funeral in there too?
Yes, the funeral is included in that also, but it's a lot more extensive as far as the time spent with the individual or with the person. As you can see, there's up to 5 or 6 visits. Again, that could, no matter where it is, that doesn't make any difference. And also the bedside closing at the call of the need of the family at the time. So, and more extensive counseling, and the memory cards that we have, and extensive grief literature.
Again, their phone number is 480-468-6300, preachmyfuneral.com. Question in terms of when somebody needs you. You know, it sounds to me like if somebody is listening to this right now and they have somebody they love that's dying, and they know it, and they know that it could be soon, how fast can you get to them? What's the turnaround time when they start to call you?
Whether they email or call, I try to get back with them with just a matter of a couple hours. As a matter of fact, on my way here, a lady called, and I talked to her on the phone as I was driving here. So, again, I know the need and the importance at this time, and so as prompt as possible.
And again, it does not matter what their religion is. I want to get that out there again very, very big time, because there's so many people that, also there's people out there that they're not religious at all, but they would love to have somebody like you to be able. I believe that everybody gets religious when they're really close to it. I'm telling you right now.
You're exactly right. Less than 20% of Americans attend church regularly, and so there are a lot of pastorless people out there, and that's just kind of the role and ministry that I've chosen to do for people.
Well, it's a wonderful thing that you're doing. What's your mission? I see you have a mission here. What is that?
Basically, just to be there for the people, to help them in the time of need. I've lost family members. I've been around a tremendous amount of people that have lost loved ones, and it just takes a really special person to unite and bring people together, and just let them know that people are concerned about them, and they desire to help them, and that there is hope.
I can only tell you that I wish I had someone like you by my side when it happened with me. And I know a lot of people out there that are listening, they also feel the same. They can relate to that. Now, again, if this is for someone that you know, please write this number down. It's a wonderful thing that you're offering. Again, it's 480-468-6300. He does free consultations with everyone. It doesn't matter what denomination you are at all. And again, he will go also outside the state if you need to. Again, that website is preachmyfuneral.com. And I tell you, thank you so much for being here, and also thank you for what your service that you're offering. There are a lot of people that could use someone like you, and if you're dealing with grief, this is a very tough thing. I know firsthand what it's all about. Again, give him a call. His number is 480-468-6300. It's preachmyfuneral.com.